they came out, clicking on all cylinders, played very well, very aggressive. I think we were on our heels most of the day. It was like they were playing downhill. Thought the quarterback had an excellent day, especially early. 100 plays and 700 yards. That's not a very good performance. I thought offensively we were very sporadic. We had some times, get a turnover, we go three. We create one, we give it right back. We were outplayed today.
How much did that goal line stand in the first half give your team a lift, knowing that you're getting the ball to start the third quarter?
Yeah, it was huge. Again, it just shows tenacity of this football team yet that I'm extremely proud of, and all the way down to the very end here, that we battled, because to get the ball coming back out was going to be important. Otherwise, it probably would have really gotten away even more so. It was big, and it shows at those times that we can be physical and make stops again, and I'm proud of them that way, especially after Kobe got hurt.
How do you think Jason did overall today?
Up and down. I think he'd say the same. There's some things, and I think he made some really good plays. I think he showed ability again to lead this football team, but I think he'll be coming in here. He'll tell you there's some plays we wish he had back as well. So we go back to work and try to get better.
Do you have an idea of how Kobe's doing at this point?
I don't. It's as you can see, it's an ankle. I saw him in a boot just now, and kind of have to wait and see.
What was your assessment of your defensive pass rush?
We had one sack, 42 passes. I think we struggled. You could see the size of their line and ability. And again, some of those throws, they get out really fast. So it's not like he's hanging out of the ball very long. And that's, they play fast, get the ball out. And again, when you let an offense like that get into a groove, it's a difficult day.
You talked about playing within the margins a little bit recently. How do you feel like you guys did in that regard today?
Not very well. Our margin for error just on some silly, we get a penalty here and there or something. I'm not saying we got to play perfect football by any stretch. That's not realistic. But there's some things that we've got to be a little bit better on that I'd like to see us. But like I told the team, some of these things I say now, I need to wait to see. Do we, not make emotional statements to all of you either until we really look at it and take, because you can get caught up in a lot of different things in this. Is where we're at some spots we're a little banged up in some areas. I don't know you could walk out of here saying you score 42 points and you'd feel pretty good in some areas, but there's still some things that you got to be better at key times. Can't give up 700 yards and 100 plays and 50-some points and expect to win a lot of football games in this league. But like I told our team, this is an extremely competitive conference right now. And you talk to any coach at any time, pre-game, post-game, or whatever, everybody's going to talk about it. And so we've got to embrace the fact that we're going to be in more games. They're going to be very tight all the way through, and we've got to find a way to make them turn in our favor.
How much was Lonnie limited today, Lonnie Phelps?
Quite a bit. I didn't think I was told before the game he wasn't going to be able to go. But he tried to go for a while, and obviously when you lose your best pass rusher right now, a little bit more of a sting. But it's part of it right now, unfortunately.
Is there anything positive that you can't take away from a game like this?
Well, I'm sure there are. I can't think of a bunch right now, but there's. I think you watch us still playing hard and making stops, trying to make something happen. Yeah, and there's some things there. That's not fair to the team to say it was just a, total debacle, because we're putting points on the board, we're doing things. What did we get? 3 turnovers a day? It might be the most we've had in a while, but I guess when you run 100 plays, sometimes you're going to get some. But, I mean, Kenny had some. We ended up with 2 fumble recoveries. I mean, there's some things there that, yeah, and I think there's some guys that got to play their most football of the year as well. So hopefully as that goes, we're going to continue building some depth and competition right now that we're going to need at some spots.
Lance, when you look at how many third and longs you guys had compared to, I think, a lot more third and shorts that they did, how much of a big difference was that in your mind throughout this game?
Well, I don't know, Jordan, exactly how many those were, but we've talked about that on a weekly basis. Our abilities when we're better on first and second down, got a lot better choices of what's all, got more choices on that play sheet. And, you could see them, when they're in rhythm and they're making things happen again. That was I'm sure Coach Levy had a heck of a time today, having some fun, calling all 100 plays because there's a lot of things that were clicking for him. Andy's had those days. I wouldn't say today was one of those for us.
One more for Coach?
You hit on it a little bit, but I guess just defensively, where do you feel like things did go wrong that kind of allowed things to snowball into 100 plays, 700 yards?
Again, until I look at it all, I mean, you give up almost 300 yards rushing and 400 passing. I think there's probably plenty to go about. I just felt we were kind of on our heels a little bit and tentative. Thought we played a little high the first half. I didn't like our pad level at times, but those can be quick glimpses on some plays. So I try to be careful, guys, because if I say it and it might be 1 or 2 plays or 1 or 2 guys, that's not giving the other 9 the credit or something that they deserve. So, but that would be it. And let's not take away the fact that this is an excellent football team we played today that had struggled for a little bit, and that's credit to their coaching staff and their program and their athletes. That their backs were the wall a little bit in a situation, and they came out and played extremely well. Okay, and we didn't quite match that, and we've got to find a way if we want to be that type of team that we can do that.
Jason, just overall, how would you assess the way the offense played as a whole?
I feel like we had our good downs and our bad downs. I think there's obviously a lot to work on, but I think there's a lot to build off of too. We had some good plays, and then obviously we had some plays that we know we need to work on, and it's just all about coming back in this week and trying to correct those mistakes and moving on.
Coach Leipold said it was up and down too. I guess what do you feel like contributed to the down happening?
I think it's a great team we just played. Their stats doesn't really show exactly how well they're playing, and I think they just came out today and they had it rolling, and I think it's just something we gotta focus on and come back out and go start faster next week.
That third quarter touchdown to LJ. Can you explain the role of the protection that you had and the time that you had to go through all your progressions to make that effective throw?
First off, that play doesn't work if the offensive line doesn't do their job, and I think they played pretty good today. Like I said, I think there's some small things we got to correct, but overall, I think in the big scheme of things, they played their tails off, and I'm excited about that group for the way that they're stepping up each and every week.
Jason, it's your first start since Kansas State last year. How did it feel? Just the emotions of this day for you, knowing that you're the guy this year?
It felt great. It feels good to to be able to go out there and start. I think that's what every college quarterback wants to do, and I think it was a big opportunity. And like I said, it's just got to come in this week and fix those little things, and try to come back out harder next week.
Did it mean a lot at all to have Jalen around, as a captain around the rest of the day?
Yeah, for sure. He's a big part of this team, and he's one of the reasons we're at where we're at. So I'm very thankful that he was able to make the trip and be there by my side the whole way, and I'm very thankful for him.
Can you talk about just the way that your teammates responded to you in this role?
I think they responded well. I think they were excited for me to be able to get my opportunity. Like I said last week, it sucks that what happened to Jalen. It's a terrible thing, but I think everybody responded well, and I'm excited to get back to work this week.
On the first interception, can you walk us through what you saw?
It's just a great play by him. It's nothing much, but just a good play by him.
Okay, in that last series before halftime. What's that mentality there to come up with that stop?
Just to continue to fight for all 4 quarters. That's what Coach Sleeve was telling me the whole time. When we were going out for kickoff, we were going out kick return. He just kept telling me, do what you normally do. This team is gonna feed off you. So I just tried to make sure that I kept my head up and I kept pushing for this team.
And then on the interception, what did you see on that play?
I'm just reading my keys. He settled, and I just seen the ball coming. It was a chance to make a play for my team.
For you guys defensively, it seemed like you guys have taken some steps forward in recent weeks. I guess more allowed it to kind of revert back to where it was last year.
Excuse me.
Defensively, where did it kind of recent weeks you guys have been making progress each week? It seems like this week, what kind of happened to where it was more of a regression?
I mean, I wouldn't call it a regression. I just call it that we just got to fine-tune the little things and get back to the details and get back to the stuff that got us here. I don't think we took steps back. I just think we just got to clean up on small mistakes.
After Kobe goes down with the injury, how did you kind of get everybody back together so that emotions wouldn't drop off?
I mean, we was built on next man up mentality, so that's what it is. We definitely felt for our brother. We came in the locker room and we made sure we played the rest of that half for Kobe, but it's always next man up, and we just kept continuing to try to keep fighting for all 4 quarters.
What's the challenge with the number of plays their offense ran?
Oh, you just got to get lined up. Like I said all week, you have to get lined up. You got to be in position. You got to get your cleats in the ground.
Kenny, what was Lance's message to you all in the locker room?
He just told us to keep our heads up, and he'll talk to us later this week.
Anything else for Kenny? All right.
Hey Mason, what is it about your offense that teams kind of lose sight of you and your ability? You're just there in the end zone.
I think it's a credit to Coach K, how we set the offense, a credit to us, not having any procedural issues. We do a lot of shifts, a lot of motions, and, distortion is kind of the name of the game with our offense. So, we do a good job of that, and I can get lost sometimes.
What do you feel like Jason did, back in the starting role again for some really pretty long time?
I don't know. I think he did a really good job. Oklahoma obviously made some great plays defensively to force some turnovers, but you look past that, and I think he had a really good game. But there's always things to be corrected. So we'll look at the film, we'll get back to it, and we'll get ready for Baylor.
Obviously, I'm sure you learn a lot from the film, but just holistically in the aftermath of this one, a few moments after, just how do you feel about how the offense did?
We had our moments, but we had a lot of moments where, we went three and out, and, we didn't execute it as well as we wanted to. So, and sometimes we put the defense in not great positions. So, we put up some points, but, we didn't do our defense and our team a favor in some spots, so we got to correct it.
Was there any consistency with the issues on third down, did you feel, or was it just maybe something different? You have to play something different on another play?
They did a lot defensively. They're kind of like, They do defensively what we try to do offensively, and just cause a lot of confusion before the ball's ever snapped. So, just giving us different looks. And like I said, they made some really good plays. So, to be honest, we need to execute better. But, like I said, we'll get back to it and correct it.
So this is a pretty tough portion of the schedule for you all. Baylor next week and then Oklahoma State a couple weeks after. What do you think is the key to having this not turn into a slide and just coming up on the other side?
Not losing sight of, what's in front of you, not overlooking, the game ahead, looking forward to, obviously the bye weeks after Baylor, so, not looking forward to that, just taking it one day at a time, getting back on Monday, having a great practice on Monday, building on Tuesday, building on Wednesday. So just taking it one day at a time instead of, looking at the big picture.
How did Jason's experience as a starting quarterback allow him not to dwell when it was a bad play or a bad series?
I mean, anyone can say that they've had bad plays whenever they're out there. So, he's had a lot of experience in the starting role, like you said. So, just there's no point in dwelling on it. It's not going to, change anything in the future. Obviously, you're going to learn from what you did wrong, but, dwelling on a mistake isn't going to change it. So, I think he did a really good job, just dropping things whenever, they came and, moving on.
Second straight big week for you. I know obviously you'd rather come away with a win and however many yards you had, but how does that feel, where the offense spreads it around so much that you kind of be a focal point 2 weeks straight?
I mean, it's like I said last week, anyone at any given moment could get a ball. So, I'm just, there to make plays whenever, my number's called on. So I thought I did a good job of that today, and I think, everyone, whenever their number was called, did a good job as well.
For you guys, 2 straight losses, and on top of that, back-to-back weeks with pretty critical injuries for the main guys on this team. When we talk about just facing adversity for this program, how do you think these guys are going to respond? And do you feel like it's just going to be an easy time to get back on the field and want to keep working?
I mean, if you ask Coach Sleeve, we love adversity. That's what something he always harps on. During winter workouts, he always try to put us in adverse positions. So, I think we're a team that's built for that. I mean, obviously, like you said, we've had some guys go down, but it's next man up. That's what's so great about the competition we have on the team is we have so many guys chomping at the bit, ready to go. So, I think we're going to respond well. Obviously, we do have a pretty good stretch coming up, so I think we're ready for the challenge.
Mason, lost those 2 back-to-back, and like you said, some injuries and everything. The first couple of weeks, it felt like you guys were kind of playing with the swagger and kind of having fun. The last couple of weeks, you kind of had your back against the wall, kind of playing conservative a little bit. How important is it, during this time, heading that tough stretch, to kind of get that morale back and keep going?
I mean, yeah, it's huge. I mean, after a loss on the road, it's hard to, initially to, keep your head up, but. There's a lot of positives on film that we have to go off of. So, we're going to get back, not necessarily focus on like the good things, but, correct the things that weren't so good. So I think we're going to bounce back in a major way next week.
What was Coach's message to you guys as a team after the game?
He was very proud of how we continued to battle. He said, a lot of teams might have packed it in, in the situation that we were in, but we kept fighting until the very end. So, he was proud of that. Kind of like I've been saying, there's a lot of things that we need to clean up on. So, we're going to get back to it,